So we have a list of ambassadors that are going to the Senate for confirmation. So we have a split of a list. We have career ambassadors, we have non-career ambassadors. Okay, the career ambassadors are people who work for the foreign affairs department of the Nigerian state. So being an ambassador is part of a career trajectory. I was invited one time by the Ethiopian ambassador. She was leaving her post in Nigeria. So she was the Ethiopian ambassador to Nigeria, and we got there early, so we're able to like look at a lot of foreign service workers just talk about their tours going into different countries and their journeys from different countries across Africa, and even some from the West, like the UK ambassador and others that really respected her work in Nigeria. So, there are career ambassadors that do the following: they oversee the country's activities, in the foreign land. They represent our nation, and then they promote our foreign policy interests, okay? And they are stationed in the embassy that they are being posted. So if they are posted in the UAE, or they are posted in Qatar, or in different countries. And being an ambassador is part of a career trajectory in the foreign affairs department in Nigeria. So a career ambassador is one that being an ambassador is part of their career trajectory. A non-career ambassador are people who are politically appointed by the president. So their tenure depends on the tenure of the president. Okay? And their tenure can be between 2 and 6 years. Okay? Now the career ambassador, it's not, yes, they can be appointed by the president or by their department, and it depends on their career trajectory in terms of how long they are there. They could be, if the foreign affairs department needs them for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, they stay because it's part of their career in the foreign affairs department of the country. Okay, so the non-career ambassadors are just political appointees, by the president. And to be very honest with you, it's politics. So it depends on, the president can reward you for your loyalty and for your donation to him politically. It's not just Nigeria they do this, they also do this abroad. Like, President Donald Trump, when he's, putting together his cabinet, he can put together people who are well experienced, and some of them are just political appointments of his loyalists. So it varies. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has presented a list of names. I'm just going to go over a few of them. I'm not going to go over everyone, but the ones that really stick out to me is the former INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, Reno Omokri, and the former Minister of Aviation, FFK, Femi, Fani, Kayode. Now, I'm just going to tell you a story about FFK. I actually interviewed him a couple of years ago during, I think it was Buhari's tenure. And he said a lot of things about President Muhammadu Buhari, how evil he is, how horrible he is, how horrible APC is, and how he was, he was imprisoned a couple of times. So he was, spewing a lot of venom about APC at the time. But when President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was coming on the scene and was politicking, he changed his tune. All of a sudden, APC is not bad. APC is all of a sudden good. So I don't know about FFK, but that is what I have seen from FFK. And so maybe this is a reward for all the role he played during the election, the venom he was spewing on Twitter. I was there. I was watching. Okay, so it's just interesting to watch. Then you have Reno Omokri. Reno Omokri was a PDP loyalist. Okay, he was an assistant to Atiku Abubakar, and he was backing Atiku Abubakar, and he was talking about how Tinubu is a criminal, and how Tinubu did not go to Chicago State University, how he went to Chicago State University to investigate President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He also went further into saying that Tinubu, is a criminal, is a drug pusher, and he, that he's hashtag table shaker. Then all of a sudden, his tone began to change. Tinubu is the best president ever. There is no attack against Christians. And then framing the delegation that he brought with him. So many things he did, because before he was in exile in the UK. Now he's back in Nigeria, enjoying the spoils of, changing his loyalties to APC. Now he's, going to be getting an ambassadorial appointment. His name has been put out. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the former INEC chairman. There's been a lot of stories about the election in 2023. Is it what people are saying in terms of the election being handed over, and in terms of why the results were not uploaded into IREV so that the collation can be public? What was that glitch that happened during the 2023 election? What happened that President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared winner in the middle of the night? So what was all that was going on? Is this a reward for all that or not? So I'm just, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just share observation. So those are the three that I have a bit of a question mark with. A couple of others, you have, the former governor of Abia State, Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu. He was a PDP governor. Then the former governor of Enugu State, Mr. Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, you have him. Then you have who else? Then you have Barrister Ogbonnaya Kalu. You have her, who is Orji Kalu, the former governor of Abia State, who is the current senator of Abia State, in one of the Abia State constituencies. His daughter is now being put as one of the people who will possibly become an ambassador. So these are a couple of names that I'm seeing, because Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi was a PDP governor, and when I saw our current governor, Governor Mba, decamp to APC, I looked in the crowd and I did see the former governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi in a in one of the Tinubu caps, APC caps. So I said, okay, so he also has decamped, and now he's possibly going to be an ambassador of the Federal Republic, representing the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So those are the people. The list that President Tinubu sent spans across representatives from all 6 geopolitical zones. So initially, the 3 that he sent, that he said, look, let me quickly fill, had 1 northerner and 2 people from the southwest. People began to complain and say, hey, is it only Yorubas and Hausas? And then he now sent in the rest of the list to show that it's across the board. People from PDP are saying that he needs to turn in back the list, that list is not good. But, let's see what happens moving forward.